My meeting with Ms. Jane Elliott.
Tell me, if you would, what got you started? I heard after Martin Luther King was shot. Is that what really initiated?
Yeah. I had no choice.
Why was that?
We were studying the Indian unit, and I was teaching the Indian unit the way we teach the Indian unit. We white folks came here and civilized those Indians,
Savages.
those savages. We had to civilize those savages. And we did it by killing them, raping their women, killing their children, stealing their land, and putting them on reservations. And I couldn't teach that. I had to teach the myth that we came here and helped them and made this a truly functioning land instead of just a land for people to run around on.
Mm-hmm.
So I taught it the way I was supposed to. And I was going home from school that day, and I had the teepee that we had made the previous years in my arms, under my arm, and I was going to take it home, wash it and dry it, take it back to school the next day. We're going to put up, kids are going to get sticks, and we're going to put up in the room. We're going to paint it with Indian symbols chosen by white folks.
Mm.
We were going to sing Indian songs chosen by white folks.
Mm-hmm.
We were going to learn the Indian prayer, "O Great Spirit, keep me from ever judging a man until I walked a mile in his moccasins," which was taught to them by white folks, missionaries who were on the mission to keep them down and keep us up.
Right.
And I walked into my house, the telephone was ringing, I answered the telephone. It's my sister. She said, "Is your television on?" I said, "No." She said, "You better turn it on." I said, "Why?" "Because they killed him." I said, "Who do we kill this time?" Because we were in a killing mode at that time. And she said, "Martin Luther King Jr." And
Oh my goodness.
every time I talk about that or think about that, I get sick to my stomach. I get furious. My blood pressure probably goes up. I'll probably have a stroke.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Not today.
Not anytime.
But sometimes somebody will ask me that question, and it'll be some pale, stale male who wants to make me feel bad about myself.
Now, what do it hurt a lot of people when he passed at the time.
It not only hurt a lot of people, but it destroyed a whole lot of people. It destroyed our vision of the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Okay, so that was what it did for you.
Oh, sweet Jesus! It didn't.
I mean,
to say it hurt a lot of people,
right,
is like saying, "Gee, it's kind of cloudy now that we're having a tornado."
So
isn't it?
It was much deeper, much deeper.
Oh my God! Here was a man who wasn't perfect,
right?
But he wanted us all to be treated fairly. He wanted us to live up to our description of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And if he had been not black, he'd have been all right. He could have gotten away with it. But he wouldn't have done it if he hadn't been black, because he wouldn't have known what the hell he was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But as a so-called black man in the United States of America, who believed in God and who believed in Jesus Christ, who, in case you have forgotten, was an Ethiopian man with kinky woolly hair and feet of bronze.
Mm-hmm.
But we, in this country, while Martin Luther King Jr. was alive, had turned Jesus into a man with long, flowing, light brown hair and pale skin in order for us to make someone that we could bow to and pray to.
Right.
I want to be there when some of these folks, some of these ministers, get to the Golden Gates and they open it, and there stands a man with kinky woolly hair and feet of bronze.
Yes.
I want to be there. I'm not going to make it because people have sent me to hell so often. Go to hell, Elliott. Like, hey, right, go to hell, Elliott. Right, I understand that. I understand that perfectly. But when you get there, if you get there and you find out that, oh my God, you aren't my God. And that's what they're going to find out. Because that's the way it is. Right. And that's the way it says, that's what it says in the Bible. And since all the books of the Bible, except one, were written by males, it must be right. You know? And our history, in case you don't realize it, is his story.
Right.
I want a her story.
Right.
Or an our story.
Right.
Instead of a history.
Right.
Now, I know that isn't where the word history comes from, but that's the
Right.
That's how you can interpret it.
That's how he interpreted it.
That,
And
of course,
man.
that's how I'm thoroughly, totally, and entirely convinced that the first man on earth was a woman.
You think so?
It's so stupid to keep telling that the first person on earth was a man, when if it had been, there would only have been one man on earth.
Right.
But we just keep telling it as if that makes sense to us, because we're the ones who wrote the Bible. So obviously we're going to write it in a way that makes us feel good and strong and capable and righteous.
Well, and I read recently, I don't know if it's true or not, and I'm a Christian, I believe in the Bible, but I do believe it's man-made, and because it's man-made, I believe that it's subject to error, unlike, that's an unpopular opinion, but that's my opinion.
Well, keep it to yourself in Osage, Iowa.
But
I got kicked out of the church in Osage, Iowa for saying
did.
I called God she
Uh-oh.
and God the mother.
And they kicked you out.
So the
Oh, no.
minister came out. He came out and brought a thing for my son to use to practice shot putting or whatever it is.
Uh-huh.
So he got in the house with that and he said, "Here, your son." So he came in and we talked for a long time. And then he stood up, turned on and got down the stairs and said, "Miss Ellie, could you do me a favor?" I said, "Sure, I will if I can. What do you need?" He said, "Would you find another place to worship on Sunday
Oh,
morning?"
my goodness.
I said, "Well, yeah, I can do that, but why would you ask that?"
Right.
He said, "Because my parishioners don't like the words you use in the service."
Oh, wow.
Oh, I said, "They don't like it when I call God mother or she?" "No, they don't." I said, "Well, you see, I think that God is a spirit and has neither gender nor color." He said, "That's not what we teach in the church." I said, "I understand that." He said, "You got a church right next door." I said, "Yes, we have." He said, "Why don't you make a church of your own?" I said, "Maybe I will. Would you like to join?" "No, I don't want to be in your church." And he slammed that inside door. He slammed it
no.
and raced to his car and jumped in and tore off down the road like the devil was.
Sounds like a devout Christian, doesn't it?
It was the most Christian thing I've ever seen in my life.
My mother got kicked out of a church because she married my father.
Oh,
They told her to find another church.
was your mother pale?
She's white.
No, she isn't white.
Okay, pale.
She's light brown.
She's pale.
She's melanistic. She's
very pale.
If she's very pale, she's melanemic.
Okay, Melanie.
Melanemic means you don't have much melanin in your skin.
Okay.
If you have a lot of melanin, and it's in the dictionary.
Really,
And if you have a lot of melanin in your skin, you're melanotic.
Okay.
But that's 15 to 18% is probably melanemic.
Okay.
15 to 18% is probably melanotic.
Okay.
That adds up to 30%, doesn't it? So 70% of the people on the face of the earth are neither melanemic nor melanotic.
What are they?
Melanaceous.
Melanaceous?
Rhymes with gracious and spacious and efficacious.
You've been doing a lot of studying over your years.
I've got a lot of time to think because nobody wanted to hear what I have to say.
I don't believe that's true.
Well,
at all.
oh, yes, it is true. You know, it reminds me of the play that we read in high school. Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar said about Mark Antony, "That man is dangerous. He thinks too much." And that's exactly what goes on in this country.
They don't want us to think too much.
If you're a thinker, they are sure you're a stinker. And we've got to keep you from communicating with other people because you might twist their minds.
Absolutely.
And
Let's dumb you down. Let's mess with the Department of Education, HBCUs, and all that.
We'll just do away with the Department of Education, particularly if you are a person who wants to be a dictator. Anyway, so I'm at the door to my house. The telephone is ringing. My sister says, "They shot Martin Luther King Jr." And then I had to decide what to do with the rest of my life. Because I was going to have to go back into school the next day and talk to my students who I had taught about Martin Luther King Jr. As being a man who was a civilized, thinking human being. And he's dead because he's a civilized, thinking human being of the wrong damn color. And I didn't know how I was going to tell that to my students. Well, I got the teepee washed and ironed, washed and dried. I had it spread out on the living room floor, had fed the kids and put them to bed, was ironing that teepee, and there was Walter Cronkite saying to 3 black males, when our leader was killed, his widow held us together. Who's going to keep your people in line? And I thought, and up to that point, as far as I was concerned, God looked like Walter Cronkite. Walter Cronkite was a brilliant man.
Yeah,
I thought
so too.
So I changed the channel. And there's Dan Rather.
Who I also admired. I thought he was,
saying to two black males, don't you Negroes think you should feel sympathy for us white people because we can't feel the anger that you feel at this killing?
What? Wow, really?
That's what he said. At that point, I'd had enough. I turned off the television, I wrapped the teepee up, I threw it into the closet, I closed the door on it, and I got my husband's supper. He worked in a factory in Charles City at that time. He came home late at night. He walked in the door and I'm crying, and he held me and he said, they shot him, didn't they? I said, yeah. He said, what are you going to do, Jane? I said, I'm going to let my little third graders, all Christian race, I'll find out how it feels to be something other than white in the United States of America.
Let me ask you this. Why do you think you did that and it wasn't someone else? What was it about you that made you do it and stick with it all these years as opposed to...
I had a father who said to us regularly, you know the difference between right and wrong? Now do the right thing, goddammit.
I heard you say that.
And if you don't learn anything else in your life, if he hadn't taught us anything else, he taught us that. And he also said, you can't judge a book by its cover or a man by the color of his skin. At the same time that he was saying, don't bring any pickaninnies into my into my house as grandchildren. So here's this person who is the most moral man I've ever known in my life, who's making a totally immoral statement. And I was raised by that man. I decided the right thing to do after this is to convince these kids that they do not want to be treated in this society the way we treat the majority of the people in the world.
Right. Keep going. I'm sorry. I just want to make sure that I'm not taping, and I think I am. I am. Okay. You know, I'm not the most handy with this.
I'm gonna put it this way: you're handier than I am, so you're fantastic.
Well, that is amazing, and I did hear you say some of that. I've watched, like I said, some of your. I've watched you before, but on YouTube I've watched more recently. I'm like, okay, let me understand her a little bit. And so, very interesting.
I had to do what I knew was right. I knew that racism was wrong. My husband and I had lived in Waterloo, Iowa for, I don't remember how many years, but he ran the store, the National Tea Store in the North End, which was the black section, so-called black section by polite people. And all of his customers, practically every one of his customers was black. And he had one black employee. National Tea would let him have one black employee. National Tea was headquarters near Chicago someplace.
You could have one black.
And he was allowed to have one black, no more, one black employee.
Okay.
So it was Jim Jackson, and he wanted to go to college. So he quit the store and got ready to go to college. When he quit the store, Anna Mae Williams, who was a fantastic human being, called my husband and said, Daryl, we're going to pick at your store. Why would you do that? You don't have any black employees. Send me a black employee. No, we want to pick at your store. So it's the dumbest thing Anna Mae Williams ever did.
Right.
Because she was misjudging the people that owned the store.
Right.
Daryl would have put up with it because he didn't own the store, but he wasn't going to put up with it because he knew he enjoyed, appreciated, and in many cases loved his black customers. And so they picketed the store. And only 6 people went to join the picketing. So it wasn't successful.
Right.
But the people, the district manager, told Daryl he made a big mistake when he let her picket that store, and they closed the store and moved it across the river to the west side of Waterloo. Now Daryl told him, don't move this store over the west. His name was Max Lyons. SOB means shades of brown in my house. They moved the store, closed the store. Now, that National Tea Store was the only grocery store on the north end of Waterloo.
Okay.
Daryl knew what they were doing. Daryl didn't have the power to stop them. They moved it. built a brand new, beautiful store across the river.
Okay.
National Tea owned the store.
I'm trying to-
They owned a lot of stores in Iowa.
Okay, so
And
you were-
most of them got closed as a result of what the Anna Mae Williams and Company did.
even though he didn't allow them to picket, they just picketed, right?
He couldn't stop them.
Right. So why would he
And
get
the police
penalized?
wouldn't stop them.
So why would he get penalized?
Well, then they moved it across town, across the river, put it beside a 4-lane highway.
Mhm.
Now, nobody is going to buy groceries on the way to town because you're going to have to sit in the car all day. Nobody's going to go across that highway to buy groceries on the way home if they live on the south end of Waterloo. It was a totally ridiculous thing to do. But Max Lyons was going to get even
Right.
with Anna Mae Williams.
Right.
And Daryl said, don't do that. Don't put that on the west side. These people, many of them do not have cars. They can't afford to drive across the river to buy their groceries. Well, they should have known better. So they moved it. And of course, it was beautiful, big, beautiful, wonderful store on the highway and no customers.
Mm.
So it must have been Daryl's store, reason Daryl's fault that there was no customers.
his fault.
So he lost his job. And a year and a half, maybe 2 years later, the store closed because they had no customers.
Right. Because they were in a terrible location.
But it was-
Location.
Location. That's exactly what it was.
Right.
And they had it going on in the north end of Waterloo, on the east side. Those
Wow.
folks were steady customers, and they were reliable customers. And Daryl would say, well, I'd come home. What's the matter, Daryl? The federal meat inspector was again today, and he stole some more cheese.
Who stole it?
The federal meat inspector.
Oh my gosh.
And Daryl had to pretend that he didn't know it,
Oh,
or his meat case wouldn't pass inspection. So and he said,
That's terrible.
Yeah, well, it's typical.
Is it really?
Well, of course it is. You cannot run a supermarket in a small town or in a big city unless you are willing to. You have to know what to notice and what to ignore. Daryl knew what to notice and what to ignore, which was what was good for him. He knew what was good for him.
Right.
He wasn't stupid. He knew what was good for him so well that when we moved here, because he lost his job, we moved right. Long story. Anyway, so we bought this store in Osage,
Mm-hmm.
and I was long story. Anyway, he said
Okay, whatever.
after we moved over here, after I brought the kids over here, he'd call and say, now if you need anything from the store, just call and let me know, and I'll bring it home. I thought, oh, isn't that nice of him? He was telling me that because he didn't want people in town to know who he was married to.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I imagine it wasn't easy.
Oh, it was horribly hard for him.
Oh.
And it's absolutely miraculous that he lived to be 79 because he had to bounce. He had to balance. It was like he was walking on a tightrope all day and every day
I imagine.
because he had to balance getting along with his customers
Right.
and his district manager and his wife and children.
Right.
And here he was. They can't be all right and they can't be all wrong, so I'm going to get along. So that's what he did. He got along.
Oh, poor man. Oh.
Yeah, it was tough on him. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
And when he finally got rid of the store, he was a happy man.
He was happy or unhappy, did you say?
A happy,
Well, he
happy
was,
man.
he was.
Because he didn't have to play the game.
Oh,
anymore.
that's wonderful.
He didn't have to pretend.
Wonderful.
He didn't have to play the game. He could just admit that bitch is my wife.
Oh.
But that bitch is the word that is most often used to refer to me. And I know that. It used to bother me a lot. It doesn't bother me anymore.
I forgot what the acronym means.
Bitch is an acronym for being in total control, honey.
Okay, there you go.
Yes. And the minute you're a woman and you're in control, some man is going to call you the B word. And it happens to me all the
Oh,
time.
yeah.
I say, thank you very much. You recognize. Well, I don't know why you'd be glad about that, because it means being in total control. It ain't a sit down and shut your mouth. Are we done now?
So did it strain the marriage?
Not as far as I was concerned.
Really?
No,
Well, that's good.
No, and especially after people found out what I was doing, and other people thought it made sense,
Mm-hmm.
and called me and asked me to do jobs all over the country and several other places.
Right.
He was a happy man.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, and he
That's
was
good.
especially happy after I had to do a job in California. So I flew out to California to do this job. While I was there, he said, while you're there, look for a house.
Oh.
I said, okay, you sure about that? Absolutely, go ahead. So I looked for a house. I found a house that wasn't built yet. It was in a senior community. And I chose the one that would make us happy.
Right.
And I called home and I said, I want a house. Jesus, Jane, you didn't. He always said that when I buy something. He said, Jesus, Jane, you didn't. I said, Darryl, you want a house? I want a house. So I told people who were going to finish it what we wanted. And I came home and showed him a picture of the house. And he said, my God, that's all right. We can live there. I said, absolutely. Nice. So, oh yeah, he was absolutely, he had always wanted to live in California.
Nice.
And here, because of what I was doing for a living.
Right. Wow. That's awesome.
It's hard.
It is. I mean, I imagine. I know that I've heard. I'm sorry, I've heard so much because I was curious, but I'm still interested in hearing what you have to say. Your family went through quite a bit as a result, your children and things. What kind of stuff did they have to deal with, and how did you deal with it?
Well, that morning, I got ready for school and I had that TV in my arms. I was walking to the door and he said, are you going to do that thing you told you were going to do? I said, yes, I am. He said, you know, you could lose your job. I said, is Martin Luther King Jr. still dead? And I left and I was crying because I wanted his support and I wasn't getting his support.
Right.
And I thought, who's going to support me?
Right.
My dad? I don't know. I went to school. The first kid in my classroom came in and said, hey, Elliott, they shot that king last night. Why did they shoot that king? So we talked about what had happened. Well, first we had to say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag with the words under God in it.
Under God.
If they had put it after indivisible, that might have worked, but they didn't. They were stupid. They put it before indivisible, which automatically divided us into those who believe in God and the right God, and those who may not believe in God at all. It's a stupid thing to do. But Dwight Eisenhower let it happen because he wanted to be a good president. We sang God Bless America, which is a hymn, but it's got good rhythm, it's easy. And then we started to talk about the killing of Martin Luther King Jr. And these kids, when I asked them what they knew about blacks, they knew every negative word you've ever heard about black people. I said, how do kids know these things are true? Because my dad said so, every one of them. Because my dad said so. I said, you have any idea how it would feel to live in a country where you are disliked because of the color of your skin? No. Would you like to know? Yeah. Would you like to do something today that will help you know that? Yeah. It was like, okay, we're going to have some more fun. Because things in my room were fun. Because if you're bored or you're angry, you aren't going to learn.
Right.
But if you're excited and you're interested, you're going to learn twice as much in half the time.
Right.
And I know that because, anyway. So I said, okay, today. And we had talked about eye color the previous day for some reason. I don't remember why. I said, today we're going to judge people by the color of their eyes. And I think brown-eyed people are going to be on the top the first day. What does that mean? So I told him, and at that point, Debbie Hughes, sweet little Debbie Hughes, looked up at me. She looked up at me, this little third grade 9-year-old, and said, how come you're a teacher here if you got them blue eyes? And I thought, well, you little shit.
Don't mess up my plan.
I had never thought about that before. Don't apply this to me. Who the hell do you think you are? And then I realized what I had done. And then Ellen Moss in the back row said, oh, Debbie, she's all right. She's all right. Her eyes don't have anything to do with it. And Debbie looked at him like, I'll get you. Because he was blue-eyed. Whenever she attacked me, he would jump in and defend me because of my eye color.
Really?
Not because I was one of his, but because of my eye color.
Right.
If I was wrong, if my eye color made me bad, then
his
eye color, which was made of the same as mine, might make him bad, and he had to be denied that there was anything wrong with being blue-eyed.
Right.
I have never, in all the discussions I ever had, or all the religion I was ever taught, or all the sermons I ever listened to, I have never had a day in which I learned as much as I did that day.
Really?
About racism.
Wow.
Because all of a sudden I was on the receiving end of it. And no matter what I said, they processed it through their eye color.
Right.
And the brown eyes automatically discarded it. And the blue eyes apologized for it. It was the damnedest day I have ever lived. By the end, I went down to the teacher's lounge at noon. Talked to some of the other teachers so I could tell them what was going on in my classroom so I'd get some support. I told them what was going on in my classroom. There were probably 10 teachers in there. And the oldest of that group looked up at me and said, I don't know why you're doing that. I thought it was about time somebody shot that son of a bitch.
Oh, wow.
Nobody frowned.
Wow.
Nobody said, oh, wow.
Oh.
They all either laughed or nodded and smiled because of what she had just said.
Mm-mm.
The other third grade teacher, that was a third grade teacher who did that. The other third grade teacher said, I don't know how you have time for all that extra stuff. It's all I can do, teach reading, writing, arithmetic.
Mm.
I had always known that those other two teachers had some problems.
Mm.
But they had kept their mouths shut around me. Now they didn't have to keep their mouths shut around me or around anybody else because they got acknowledgement from the rest of the teachers in that teacher's lounge. And they got acknowledgement from all the teachers in the building and the parents and everybody except the administrators.
And what did the administrators say?
And Mr. J said, when they said he should fire me, he said, sure, I could fire her, but she's doing the right thing. Why would I fire her for doing the right thing?
Oh, goodness. Well, you got one good one. That's
Mr. J said that, and they printed it in the paper. Somebody came and interviewed him, and they printed in the paper that this is what the superintendent said.
Well,
And this is what my first two principals said. She's doing the right thing. She's teaching kids to read that nobody else has been able to teach to read. We're going to have to take the bitter with the sweet because she's an excellent reading teacher.
that is
We're
wonderful.
going to keep on. She will teach here as long as she wants. If you have taken a course in how to teach the dyslexic child,
Mm-hmm.
and you're living in a community in which at least 20 to 30% of the males in that community and some of the females are slightly or moderately or severely dyslexic, and you know how to teach the dyslexic person how to read, there's no way they're going to get rid of you. I made their scores go up.
Wow. That's wonderful.
Well, it's not as much wonderful as it is unspeakable that I was the only one who had taken that course in how to teach the dyslexic child.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think a couple of others went at it. Gina Osmond and Paul Rome were two of the most brilliant thinkers and teachers that I ever saw in my life. And they taught us how to teach the dyslexic child the dyslexic person of whatever age. It was absolutely like magic and the simplest thing you'll ever see in your life.
Really? What was it?
Oh, I'll show you.
Okay.
Because everybody needs to know this.
Right.
And every parent who has a son who can't get it, who doesn't hear words the way they're said and can't repeat them the way they need to be said, needs to see this.
Okay.
Because these women, Paula Rome took a course was in some way related to, doesn't matter, but you can find it out if you look around.
Okay.
She was related to Dr. Samuel Torrey Orton, who found his first dyslexic person at the University of Iowa in the late 20s. Tell me 4 signs for this.
4 signs for that.
Sounds. 4
Sound.
sounds.
Oh, gosh. A.
Mm-hmm.
Aw.
Mm-hmm.
Let me think.
Mm-hmm. Hat, bat, cat.
I don't know.
Hat, bat, cat.
Okay. Okay.
4 sounds for the letter A.
Okay.
And did you learn that in school?
I don't remember learning that.
Hell no, you didn't. Now I have a feeling that you're over 15. And
A little bit.
what makes you think that maybe you should have known that other sound before this age? And that's exactly what happens in classrooms all over the United States of America all day long. A little child comes in and his skin is dark and the teacher says to the person standing, oh, there's another one of our little black boys. And at that point, that witch should lose her job. Because number 1, that isn't one of hers.
Right.
Number 2, that isn't a black child.
Right.
There are no black people. You've got black hair. I can see, but it's getting gray.
Right. Thank you, Jane. Miss Elliott, I'm sorry.
You call me Jane, I can call it worse. I can see where your hair leaves off and your skin begins.
Okay.
Your hair is black, right?
Well,
Is your skin?
No.
No, thank you very much. So how long are you going to continue to call yourself black?
Well, I don't know, Jane, because I've heard that I can't call myself biracial.
No, you can't call yourself black. Good for you. Good for you. You know 100% more than 99%
Because I've listened
of
to
the people
you.
in the United
I've
States.
listened to you. No, I didn't anyway, but I mean, I've struggled back and forth actually with it over the years, but.
You've got to call yourself melanaceous.
Melanaceous. I like that.
A shade
That
of
sounds
brown.
wonderful.
Or go to. Sure. Show you where to go.
Oh, good, we're done with the test.
Here we go. You should never have asked me. If you never ask me a question, you don't have to worry about me answering.
I should have known better. You're a teacher.
And that's another thing you have to forget. I am not a teacher.
You're not a teacher. You're an educator.
I'm an educator.
Okay.
Teachers dispense facts and figures to get their kids ready for the end of term testing.
Okay, you're an educator.
That word educator comes from the root duck deuce, which means lead,
Okay.
the prefix e, which means out, the suffix ate, which means the act of, and the suffix or, which means one who does.
Okay.
An educator is one who is in the act of leading people out of ignorance.
Okay. Well, thank you for leaving.
And the number one ignorance in the United States of America is racism. The idea that there's more than one race is total, absolute ignorance.
I do, along with all the other isms.
But the one that guides our lives and directs our lives and makes our lives smaller is racism.
I believe that too.
Well, you go to the thesaurus and you look for all the synonyms for white.
Okay.
There are about 33. You look for the synonyms for black. There are about 30. You look for the synonyms for brown. 188.
Really? Interesting. No, I believe you. I believe you.
Look at that. Look at all those synonyms for brown.
Interesting.
Now, you could find the color of your skin in that list of words.
Yes.
Everybody could.
Right.
And if that doesn't work, I have another way to help you do that.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but you.
No, you're good. You do whatever you want. You are good. Seemed like I had printed something on black and brown. What was it? That's not it.
I'm sure you've heard of this.
Okay.
Pantone Skin Tone Guide.
Pantone Skin Guide.
Okay. Is it really a skin guide?
These are the colors of human skin,
Okay.
and each of them has a number.
Really?
And you spread this out on a table, just like this. You fan it out, and you have your students go up and put their hand on it, palm down, until they come to a color on it that matches the skin on the back of their hand.
Okay.
And then that number is their skin color.
It doesn't get very light, does it?
Well, no, there are no white people.
It's all shades of, okay.
It's all shades of brown because we are all shades of brown.
Isn't that interesting?
And if you don't believe that, then you know, God, I just think this is, if we just had these in every classroom in the United States, and kids would put their hands on it and say,
Neat.
oh, hey, there's my color. See,
Right.
there's mine right there.
Wow, isn't that interesting?
Fascinating. You want to try it?
Mm-hmm. I do, but I don't know if I can tell which one it is. Is it in here somewhere?
Well, lay it out and see.
I think, what do you think?
Put your hand on it. Those come pretty close.
Pretty
don't
close
they?
to
Right
that,
there.
yeah.
You're a number.
What number am I?
YY10SP.
YY10SP?
That's your number. But you go, as you do that, then you go to the thesaurus and you look for a word that you think might describe that number, that color. Then you go to the dictionary and you read that definition of that color, and then you can tell whether that is the color of your skin. Yeah,
Interesting.
there is no black on here.
Wow.
Dark brown, dark, 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 really, really dark.
Right?
But there ain't no black, because there ain't no black people.
Right.
And there's no white, because there are
Right.
no white people.
Interesting.
I
So
think,
where do you get that?
order it from these people.
Really?
Pantone, just get on the net and type in Pantone Skin Tone Guide,
Huh.
and you can get a copy of it. I think I don't remember. I got it a long time ago, and I should get another one because this is beginning to fade.
Right.
Please date this part of the first one. Okay. So that's what you do.
It is I've got some.
And then when somebody says, I'm black, you can say, whoa, 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 whoa. Your number is Pantone Skin Tone Guide.
Okay, wonderful.
Everybody should have one.
Nice.
So that we can get rid of the idea of black and white. There are no black and white people. And then after you do that, or before you do that, this is such a dirty trick.
A what?
This is a dirty trick.
Uh-oh.
To introduce people to this stuff. It's like, oh shit, I've ruined your day. Oh, but I'll ruin your life. You can't ever go back to what you were before you saw this stuff.
Right.
Because this is the truth whether you like it or not. See this magazine? Have you ever read this magazine?
My mom used to have tons of them. National Geographic.
But does she have this one?
National Geographic Magazine.
I don't think so. Black and white.
April of 2018. These are twin girls.
Okay, yeah. I've heard that people can have twins that are different colors.
Really?
Uh-huh. Yeah, that is so cool.
It is so. And in this magazine, you'll find these 2 pages.
This is the color wheel of humanity.
I tore them out so that I could hang them on the wall and I could take them to meetings and
Right.
show people.
We're all shades of brown.